guys. Are you having a good day? Fantastic. For those of us who haven't met yet, my name is Dr. Doug Sullivan. I'm one of the coaches here with Integrity Doctors, and I get to bring us home today. Are you ready? All right. Well, as the song implied, the title of my class today is called Something's Happening Here, and I want us to look at what's going down. So, let's talk about opportunities. I don't know if you've seen it. Don't know if you've recognized it. But there's a huge opportunity in healthcare right now. Huge opportunity right under our nose. But we got to start priming a little bit. So we're going to spend a few minutes just starting to get thinking about who we are, and then let's take a look at this opportunity. So I'm going to ask you some questions. But because, again, I know we're at the end of the day, you're going to answer yes for me to these questions by standing up. Okay, so if the answer to the question is yes, you're going to stand up and say, yes. There it is. Staff, I'm talking to you as much as I'm talking to your doctors, so you can answer for your doctors on this. Are we ready? Here we go. Here's the first one. Who in here today treats patients who come in the door with pain? If the answer is yes, stand up and say yes. Yes. There it is. Perfect. Look around. Nope. Stay standing. Stay standing. I got two more questions for you. Stay standing and say yes if you're good at it. Say yes. No, wait a minute. Let's do it again. Are you good at it? Yes. Yeah, there we go. Here's the next one. Do you get your patients better? Yes. How awesome is chiropractic? Give yourselves a hand and look around at each other. There's not a lot of other professions that can have everybody standing like this and say, we get our patients better. How cool is that? You guys can have a seat for me. But here's the problem with what we just did, you guys. I wonder, as we talk about taking care of people who hurt and who have aches and who have ills, I wonder if we get distracted from what it is that we really do, from who it is that we really are. I gotta wonder if we've got a bit of a mindset problem. Now you're saying, wait a minute, we just got excited about this, and now you're saying we got a mindset problem. Bear with me, but keep that word mindset in mind. When I came out of school, I came across this quote real early on. Thomas Edison, not a chiropractor, but he sure seems like he was thinking like a chiropractor. Anybody ever seen this quote before? Doctor of the future will give no medicine, but will interest his patients in the care of the human frame, diet, and in the cause and prevention of disease. Keep this one in mind. We're going to carry this for a little bit today. And now with opportunity, there's challenge. So before we talk about the opportunity before us, let's talk about the challenge. Anybody noticed? Our nation's health is in a little bit of trouble. Have you noticed? Yeah, kind of messy, isn't it? I pulled this article from the National Academy of Sciences, dated 2013. That date is important, keep it in mind. And the title of the article is called U.S. Health in International Perspective. Shorter lives, poorer health. Let me read you a few pieces from it. Americans die sooner and experience unhealthier lives than residents in other high-income countries, even though the United States spends far more, and I would say far more, on health care. Now, before we start making this a political thing, because I know that's the season that we're in and we're all inundated by it, let's make sure we get some things clear. This is true. This disadvantage exists across all ages, all demographics. Don't care if you're black, white, green, red, or purple. This affects you. Don't care if you're 90 or 9. This affects you. The U.S. has been falling behind other high-income countries since 1980, you guys. This is not just a 2013 problem. This is a decades-old problem, and the trend is showing continuing deterioration regardless of administration, regardless of social reform. It doesn't matter who you vote for. It doesn't matter who makes it to office in November. We're still going down in our health care. In this article, there were a lot of experts weighing in, and they asked themselves in the article, why is this happening? And the answer really came back, they don't really know. All we know is that our life expectancy is shorter and we have poorer health throughout our lifetime. So here is the fact. People are dying earlier than they should be, and they are suffering at rates that are avoidable. They're suffering from diseases that, listen, we know how to prevent. And they're dying unnecessarily from them anyway. Okay, great. So what's the solution? Is anybody looking for an answer? Well, lots of actually pretty prominent physicians were weighing in on this. If I mention the names, you'd probably know some of them or have heard of them. And they gave varying solutions that made some sense or maybe no sense at all. But there was one that I read, and then I kind of threw up on my shoes a little bit. One choice might be to just live with it. Just accept the fact that we've fallen behind and we will now always be behind. Let that roll around on your tongue a little bit. How's that feel? Not very good. Don't like it. Don't like it at all. Okay, so let's move forward from 2013. We hit 2020. Anybody in here remember what happened in 2020? Yeah. Kind of a yucky year for our world, eh? Yeah, the COVID pandemic, just in case you were living under a rock. Well, we really got smacked around in healthcare on that year, didn't we? Yeah. But you know, as we said, with opportunity comes challenge, with challenge comes opportunity. We had an opportunity to reevaluate our healthcare approach from bottom down, top up. Our healthcare system was highly exposed in 2020, wasn't it? We got to see a lot about how the people that are supposed to be taking care of us think. And I don't know what you saw, but I know what a lot of us saw. There was a chance in there. In fact, there was a necessity in there for a reset. What do you think? You with me on this? We had a need and an opportunity to reset our healthcare, to really look at things and say, yeah, that's not going well. That's not right. We're not thinking about that right. So how'd that reset go for us? Kind of like this. Yep. Nothing like a burning dumpster in a flood. Gallup polling, December 2023, puts out an article. It says in the U.S., physical health plummets after the pandemic. Wait a minute, I thought we were already plummeting. Yeah, so the pandemic didn't do us any good, right? More obesity and diabetes, no change in exercise habits, decreased physical activity every day. Yeah, we were locked in our homes. Eating habits got worse, declining cardiovascular and health metrics. And yet it seems like the solution that's still getting thrown at that is this one. Just live with it. Just deal with it. Just live with it. But you know, I contend that in 2020, it was our opportunity to shine. It was our opportunity to step up and take a lead like had never been presented to chiropractors before. To present the adjustment as a way to stay well. How many of you in here, staff members, raise your hands if you are, if you've only been in your office for, say, 9 months or less. Do we have any brand new staff members in here? Okay, I'm really talking to you guys, because maybe you haven't heard this before. How many young doctors do we have in here? Doctors 3 years or less out of school. Oh, right. Fantastic. Welcome. So here's the deal, you guys. There's some things we know about the chiropractic adjustment that for some reason the powers that be don't like us to talk about. There are some very distinct and clear links between the adjustment and increased functioning of the immune system. Yeah, what do I mean by that? You get adjusted and your body functions better against disease and illness. How cool is this? New York University did a study where people with 5 years of chiropractic care had immune systems that were 400% stronger than those with cancer, 200% stronger than just a typical person without chiropractic care. So for those of you that are new to us, nice to have you. You young doctors, this isn't stuff you were getting in school. You're welcome. So how did that go for us? Well, just about like the dumpster fire. Those of us that were yelling it from the mountaintops, our state government blocked it, our federal government blocked it. Even our state associations told us we couldn't say this. A state association which will remain unnamed from this stage up here, but many of us in here might be familiar with, told us that because of the World Chiropractic Federation's stance on immunity in chiropractic, we couldn't talk about that to the public. By the way, the World Chiropractic Federation is run by a dude in his basement in the Netherlands. Yeah, and that's how we got shut down here. We are our own worst enemies sometimes. So we missed it. We missed the opportunity to entrench the adjustment, not just as a means of taking care of the aches and the ills that we all celebrated in here earlier, but also as a gateway to improving overall health. How do we know we missed? Keith gave you a figure this morning that chiropractic utilization's at 13%. Those are people that are actively under chiropractic care. This next one hurts my heart. We're still only at 18% all-time of the population using chiropractic. In other words, only 18% of the population has ever experienced chiropractic. That's about the same as when Gallup and Palmer came together in 2016 and studied how many people use chiropractic. What they found, and they celebrated it at the time, was that we had a 16% all-time utilization, which was up from 8% 10 years earlier. Great. We doubled, and since 2016, we've gone nowhere. There are no more people using chiropractic than in 2016. But as the song said that we were singing along to earlier, I want you to look at what's going down now. I would contend that all is not lost. We still have hope. I wonder if you've noticed this new frontier. You see me putting it in air quotes because we're going to see that it's not so new as we keep going. But the new frontier in healthcare that's developing, they call it longevity science, longevity medicine, longevity healthcare. Essentially, the healthcare in helping people live longer and live better. And there's some real leaders at the front of this that many of you might recognize. I'll put some of them up on the screen here. Dr. Peter Attia, Gary Brecka, Dr. Gabrielle Lyon, Dr. Kelly Starrett, Dr. Andrew Huberman, let's see, what's her name? Dr. Rhonda Patrick. And probably some of you that have really been following this, you're going, yeah, but this guy, yeah, but this lady, yeah, but this doctor. You're right, this is all I could fit on the screen. There's a good couple of dozen of these very prominent, very well-known, very studied physicians that are promoting the idea of longevity medicine like it's a new thing. So I've been looking at this. I've been watching this for a couple of years because it really sprang up after 2020's disastrous year. And what I'm finding as I read their books and watch their videos and actually go to and attend some of their lectures, what I'm finding is that although they talk about a lot of different ways of living longer and living healthy, they have a singular anchor. All of them talk about movement and mobility as being the foundation of living longer. Where have we heard that before? Anybody? Oh, I know. It's us. We've done it. He wrote a class 20 years ago called How to Stay Young for the First 100 Years. Anybody remember this class? Yeah, we've taught it a few times, but funny, a whole lot of people pushed back and said, oh, how silly, how dumb, how weird, people living to 100. No, this is happening. We've been talking about it for 20 years. But I digress. So let's dig into this longevity science from their perspective, and let's take a look at what they're saying this is, what it looks like. Dr. Attia's book called Outlive, The Science and Art of Longevity. I like Dr. Attia because he's well-studied, he's well-presented, and this book is dense. Oh, there's a lot of science and stuff in here. But his concepts come together really well. Here's the first one. He talks about the evolution of healthcare. And he starts it with medicine 1.0 because he is a medical doctor, so instead of calling it healthcare, he'll call it medicine. Medicine 1.0, a couple thousand years ago, the age of Hippocrates. And at that time, what organized healthcare was certain healers. I don't even know if they called them physicians yet at that point, but they would look at the ache and the injured and the illness of people. And then they'd do things like rub dirt on it, hang them upside down, put leeches on them, rub potions on them, pour things down their throat. Maybe they do an exorcism on them. In other words, they were kind of taking a guess, sometimes on target, sometimes not so much. But the thing is there became an organized group of people who did this. And thank God, over the next few thousand years, into the last few hundred years, medicine 1.0 finally became medicine 2.0. Evolution of technology, really understanding that we need to wash our hands. That probably saved millions of people, right? Understanding the germ theory. Those potions became medicines. Those techniques became surgeries. And let's admit it. If you were injured, if you got an acute illness, medicine 2.0 may have saved your life. It has saved the lives of millions. But you know what it's not doing a good job of? At all? The long-term diseases, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, just to name a couple. Medicine 2.0 is nearly entirely focused on lifespan, adding time, keeping the person alive longer, staving off death. I'm not even sure that's going so well based on the articles I gave you before, right? But little thought is given to quality. We're in medicine 2.0 right now in our world, and little thought is given to quality. Great, Bob's got another 3 years to live, but he can't eat, sleep, drink, eat, talk, or pee. But he's got another 3 years. Yay, medicine. Do we see that this is failing? We got to move on to medicine 3.0. Medicine 3.0 is not about technology. Medicine 3.0 requires an evolution of us and of our patients. And it starts right here. Now, I'm going to pause for just a second and say, you may think that Ryan and Keith and I sat down and shared our classes with each other as we start going forward from here, and you start to hear what I have to say next. I promise you, none of us knew what the other one was writing, but you're going to hear a whole lot of what you've heard today already, and I'm going to start with that word, mindset. We need an evolution of our mindset, and we need an evolution of our patient's mindset. Medicine 3.0 will succeed when we put a greater emphasis on prevention. How? What? Prevent what? This comes by maintenance. This comes by maintenance of the human body, maintenance of the human frame. I wonder where we've heard this. Do you recognize this from earlier in my conversation? Thomas Edison, not a chiropractor, not alive during the evolution of medicine 3.0, but somehow he could foresee the future. The doctor of the future will give no medication, but will interest his patients in the care of the human frame, in diet, and in the cause and prevention of disease. We're here, everybody. Medicine 3.0 places a far greater attention on health span rather than lifespan. Health span is the quality of how you live, because it doesn't matter if you get 3 days, 3 years, or whatever it is, if you can't move. And what's really cool about this Medicine 3.0 concept with quality is that we can get it with the lifespan. We can live longer, 70 years, 80 years, 90 years, and we can live well. Wait a minute. Where have we heard this before? Wait a minute. Who's been saying this for 20 years? Who? We have. Say we have. We've had this, you guys. This has been the message we've been carrying on all along. But somehow, some way, we let it get away from us. Whoops. So interestingly then, I'm flipping through Dr. Attia's book, and I nearly fell out of the armchair because I came across this graph printed nicely in his book. Right away, hands up if you recognize this graph. far as I know, you haven't talked to Dr. Attia.
No, not at least.
Yeah. Medicine 3.0 increases health longevity or health and health quality, lifespan and quality. And I thought, wait a minute, where have I seen that before? Oh yeah, it's from that class again. It's called Living Well for Life. Show of hands right now. How many of you show the Living Well for Life in your office? Great. Everybody look around at the hands that are up. If your hand isn't up on Monday, make sure that you join this crowd. This is a message that's going out to the whole population that we've been saying for 20 years, but for some reason, you don't want to carry on. Not sure why. Pick it up. I want to remind you something. All these people that I just showed you, longevity healthcare is anchored in movement and mobility, not pain. Now, I baited you a little bit, and I got you to stand up and say, yay, us, look at us when we take care of people who have pain, and that's a good thing. But I'm afraid that's where our mindset gets stuck. I want to remind you that movement and mobility seems to be the foundation of this next step, of this next evolution. And that's our realm. Dr. Attia says how you move is how you live. Dr. Lyons says, my mission is to promote longevity and combat the pervasive threats of obesity, heart disease, diabetes, by optimizing muscle health through, yeah, we're going to have to start getting used to that word. You don't seem to like it very much. Let's keep using it. What's that first word up there? You got it. Movement can help the brain stay strong, improve cardiovascular health, and reduce stress, says Dr. Huberman. I love this next one. Movement is the closest thing we have to a wonder drug. Dr. Rhonda Patrick says individuals engaging in exercise, which is what? There it is. For just 1 to 2 minutes, 3 times a day, saw a significant impact in their health. A 50% decrease in cardiovascular mortality, a 40% reduction in deaths from all causes just because they're moving. See, I'm afraid we get too stuck in our minds that there needs to be all of these specialty medications and all of these specialists that have to be involved with people to help them with these diseases. Except that what the research is showing is that it's mostly just movement and mobility. Dr. Kelly Starrett says, being sedentary sets you up for all kinds of problems. I like this. Dying prematurely being the worst of them. Yeah, I think that's a problem. And we've been doing this for 20 years, you guys. We've been putting it in the Living Well for Life, formerly called How to Stay Young for the first 100 years. This is a class we know and an idea we know well. So, if we know it so well, and we've been talking about it for so long, why am I standing up here on the stage talking to you about these people? Because the public's listening. People are listening to them. The people that we serve, as Ryan talked about earlier, are listening to them. Let me prove it. Dr. Attia's book has been sitting on the New York Times top 10 bestseller list for 70 weeks. His podcast is top 12 in health and fitness on Apple and Spotify. Dr. Lyons right behind him on all the bestseller lists, top 25 podcast on Apple and Spotify. Dr. Rhonda Patrick, same thing, top 25 health and fitness podcast, top 5 in medicine. She's got a ton of studies that she's done linking movement and anti-aging. Lectures all over the country on this. I've been to one of her lectures. It's very good. Dr. Huberman, possibly one of my man crushes. 6th most listened to podcast of all time across all platforms. Over 80 scientific publications in top journals. He's been cited over 10,000 times, and he's a tenured professor of medicine at Stanford University. I find this guy to be a little slippery, Gary Brecka, but nonetheless, he's got quite an influence. Partnered with a guy you might have heard of once called Grant Cardone. They started this program called 10X Health Systems. Really gained his footprint in social media by basically saving Dana White's life. Dana White is the president of the UFC. His podcast, although I think it might have changed here recently, is top 25 in health and fitness on both Apple and Spotify. In other words, you guys, people are listening to them. Our patients are listening to them. They're proving it by buying their books, watching their lectures, going to their YouTube sites. They have millions. I was doing all the studies on the statistics of how many people follow them. It is millions of people listening to this message over and over and over again. But I propose to you that they've all forgotten something. I think they've all forgotten something really important. And we've known it all along. Chiropractic is the foundation of health. Chiropractic is the foundation of health, you guys, because it maintains what? I don't hear it loud enough. It maintains what? It maintains movement. You better get used to feeling that word on your lips. It's what you do. It maintains movement without proper spinal alignment, without proper joint alignment. Movement suffers. And if we don't do adjustments first, their healthcare science doesn't go anywhere. They've got nothing if the body isn't moving. Do you see this? Do you get the mindset? Without the adjustment first, the rest of the movement science that they've got, their longevity healthcare, fails to launch. Now I ask you a question, and I want an answer. Do you believe it? Can we try again? There she is. Let's do it together. Do we believe it? See, we better be that strong when we walk out the door here today and go in our office on Monday. We've got to work on this. Now, thank you for letting me lead you into being strong about your answer. But I've been wondering about this for a bit. Do we really believe this? Do we really believe that movement is the foundation, that mobility is the foundation for wellness, for long life? So you know what I did? Yeah, I went to your stats. There's some people in here right now going, oh no, Sullivan's got the stats up. Let's take a look at a single office, single location, 1.5 doctors, one full-time, one part-time, open about 7 years. Pretty decent practice. They're seeing about 1,000 visits a month. Would you guys like that, 1,000 visits a month in an office? It'd be good, yeah. Yeah, collecting about $45,000, $50,000, averaging about 35 new patients a month. That's just shy of 200 through the first half of this year. But look at their wellness. January, 469 visits. June, 395. Okay, I did the math for you. It's a net loss of 74 people, despite putting nearly 200 new bodies into the practice that first half of the year. Now, maybe it's fair that you say, but this is a relatively young practice. Maybe they're still getting established. Maybe they're just still getting that wellness built up, and they're having a bad year. Okay, let's go look at another practice. 30 years, 2 doctors. This office is kicking it. I think they're averaging about 65 new patients a month, collecting somewhere around 130,000 a month. Doing about, about 2,600? Yeah, about 2,600 patient visits. Would you like a practice like that? They've done almost 400 new patients over the first half of the year, but somehow they've got a net loss in wellness. In other words, they went backwards. Okay, so you say it's the key isn't just one practice, it's multiple locations. They've got to be spread out around the community in order to get the word out. All right, let's go look at a multi-doctor practice. Multiple clinic locations, depending on which practice you're looking at. It's anywhere between 15 years in practice down to 2, which was the newest one that opened. Collectively, they're doing somewhere around 260, 270 new patients a month. Would you like that? Yeah. About 1,600 new patients in the first half of this year. By the way, collecting somewhere around 450,000. Not a bad deal, huh? Except that we got a net loss of wellness, 252 lost wellness visits from January to June. I could go on. Did I find this with everybody? No, I didn't. There's many of you out there that have got great growing wellness practices. But I want to establish the true question here of, do you really believe it? Because many of you, your scoreboard says you don't. And so when I've been pushing on you in the last couple of months as I've been studying this and looking at it, one of the responses that I get back really regularly is, well, our patients don't really want wellness. They don't really value the adjustment helping them live long. They don't really want it. They don't really want to hear it. And so we're just going to respect that. You're wrong. Can I do it? You're wrong. You're wrong. So I want to prove it to you. I went through and found another study. 2022, title of this study is Most Americans Want to Live Longer, but Few Know How. Let me give you a couple pieces out of the study. It says, at a time when U.S. life expectancy has fallen for the second year in a row, a new study finds that most Americans, now listen, most Americans have high hopes when it comes to their own longevity. 87%, say that so I know you know it, 87%. 87% reported they want to take steps to live healthier for longer, and over half want to live to be 100 or older. And you made fun of us. Except that here it is. The people that we serve are telling us this is what they want. 2/3 of Americans say they want to live longer than their parents or other family members. However, only 55% are confident that they'll actually do so because of the current status of health care. 66% are concerned about inheriting the same health issues of their parents and family. But now, this is the key. Get this last sentence. Over half say they're more willing to try new treatments than maybe their parents or their family were. That's going to be important. That's going to be important. But let's just take an aside real quick. I thought this was interesting. While most people say they want to live to 100 or beyond, they aren't considering that the last 20 of those years may not be so graceful. The conversation around aging has largely focused on lifespan, but the more important measure is our health span. Where have we heard this before? We said it. We said it here. We said it here. Are you getting my point? We've had this in our hands, you guys. And just in case you think I'm cherry picking the studies, let me show you. I just gave you the one that probably had the clearest statistics that I could put up on the screen. But there are a whole lot of articles and studies and conversations about the fact that Americans, the people we serve out there, they want to live longer. They want to know how. They want it. Look at my screen, please. Your patients do want longevity. They're seeking it. They'll go find it. But if you don't tell them what the value of the adjustment is in contributing to them living longer, they're going to go find that message somewhere else. They just will. And oh, by the way, just in case you're one of those ones that gives us the pushback of our patients won't pay for wellness, you are wrong again. To be a patient of Dr. Peter Attia's, it costs $150,000 a year. By the way, he's full, and he's got a waiting list that's a year long. Dr. Gabrielle Lyon charges $500 for her initial consult, $900 a year for her membership, and that's just to get in and get started with her. They will pay for it, you guys. They're looking for it. They want it. Here's the truth. The reason our offices aren't overflowing with patients staying with us to get an adjustment, to stay well, comes down to two things. Thing number one, it's just not our mindset yet. We just haven't taken it as a mindset. We haven't embraced this idea. We continue to be married to this medicine 2.0 idea, treating the symptoms. There's a couple of sentences I love to use to give you an idea of what Medicine 2.0 thinking is like for your patients. Your patients think, when they're in the Medicine 2.0 type of mind frame, if I got a pain, I need a pill. Now, if they're coming into your office, how cool is that? They've figured out that the adjustment can be replaced, or can be the replacement for the pill. But there's a second sentence here. If I don't have a pain, I don't need the pill. And so now, if the pain's gone, they don't need you if they've substituted your adjustment for the pill. See, we can't stay in this mindset. It's not working for us anymore. Everybody, we got to get this one. Stand up. Stand up. Repeat after me. We aren't pain doctors and teams. Because we're all together on this. We're not pain doctors, you guys. We are movement doctors. We are mobility doctors. Say, we are movement doctors. We are mobility doctors. Will you let me use the word wellness from now on today? Can we put the word wellness in place of movement and mobility? Do we have that connected now? Perfect. You can have a seat. Thanks. We've got to get this in our minds, you guys, and that's why I've spent most of my class time working on this. Because those of us that are real new to this, you young doctors, you new staff members, this might be the first time you've ever heard this. For many of you, you've been hearing it for 20 years, but somehow we're still missing it. So we've got to get inside this mindset. But then here's the second thing we have to do. The second reason that you're not overflowing with wellness patients is you're not telling them. We're not telling them about it. You're saying, well, yeah. We tell them right at the end of care. No. You're not really telling them. And that's where we're going to go for the last portion of our class today. We're going to talk about the telling. Because, see, I got to ask you, how are your patients going to know you're the gateway to longevity if you don't tell them? Remember, we've already established it in the classes that we teach. We are the foundation. But we continue to talk to ourselves, to our patients, to the public, in a lingo of pain. We assess progress on pain level. We advertise by talking about pain. Our schools teach you young doctors that if the pain in the patient isn't gone in a couple of weeks, you need to refer them out of your office. What? Crazy talk. Outcome success in so many of our offices seems to be predicated on the presence or absence of pain. And so therefore, talking about, thinking about, and working on maintaining movement and mobility becomes a secondary thing to us. That's got to stop. Unfortunately, I hear so often from you all when I'm talking about flow in your office and I'm talking about procedures in your office, I hear you give a tone of explaining wellness and talking about wellness to your patients as being tedious, as being time-consuming, as being this extra thing, being a distraction, being boring. Ryan and Keith have already gone through some of the quotes earlier today. I don't like the videos. Patients don't want to watch the videos. They're tired of them. Yeah, maybe I forgot to show the Living Well for Life for like 4 months. I didn't have time to give that wellness report today. I was too busy taking care of all those people in pain. Doctors, I don't like the way that script is worded. It's not me. I also hear you say a lot, patients don't want to hear me say that. Again, they're tired of me being so repetitive. Here's the cold, hard truth. Your patients do want wellness. They are seeking it. They'll buy it. They'll do it. They'll stay with it. But only if every one of you in here will be determined to tell them that you're a movement and mobility doctor. Only if you show them that you're the gateway. Because they aren't doing it. I've read their books. I've watched their videos. I've been to their lectures. I'm curious. I wanted to know. By the way, Gary Breck is even trained in a chiropractic school, and he doesn't talk about chiropractic. What? Right? They're not talking about you. You need to propose your value as a wellness doctor. You need to propose your value as a wellness doctor. Now, when should that conversation start? Think maybe we should wait until we've got the whole acute care plan totally wrapped up and they're all done with that advanced multiple scheduling, and then we say, now about that wellness. Yeah, it's probably not a good idea. Maybe once they've grown comfortable with their chiropractic care, a month or two in, right? Maybe they're halfway through care. Then we start talking about wellness. Not a good idea. How about at least 2 or 3 visits into care when they're starting to feel a little better? Maybe then they'll be open to hearing about wellness. No to none of those. You know when you got to start? Right away. Day 1, minute 1, you've got to start talking about wellness. Why? I mentioned it earlier. Back in 2016, Gallup and Palmer College got together in collaboration to look at what the utilization of chiropractic all time was in our population, and it comes out to be around 16%. As Keith said today, about 13% are actively getting care. But you know what is on the opposite side of this 16%? 84%. 84% of the people out there don't know who you are. They don't know what you do. They don't know why you do it. They sure don't understand that you've got any kind of association whatsoever to being able to live longer. Now, if we just take those statistics and place it on the new people walking in your office, you can say the same thing. 16% of the new people that come in my door know what they're looking for, know who we are, know what we do, which means 80% don't know jack about you. You know what they do know? Medicine 2.0. I got a pain. I need a pill. You'll help them understand that that pill for you is an adjustment. But how do we finish that sentence? If I don't have any pain, I don't need the pill. That's what they come in the door with. I want you to remember, though, everybody, 87% of the Americans studied in that article I talked to you about earlier say they want to take steps to live longer. And over half say they're more willing to try other treatment. Guess what? That could be you if you'll just tell them. If you'll just tell them you've got it. Most Americans want to live longer, but the key title here is they don't know how. How are we doing on the mindset? We getting there? This is so important to us here at Integrity that we actually have included it as a core value. I hope you've adopted this as a core value. But just in case you haven't or have forgotten what core value number 2 is, let's go through it real quick. The public doesn't know chiropractic. They don't know how to say it, spell it, and don't know how it works. They need to know the tremendous, I inserted wellness power of chiropractic. We got to stop being so quiet and bashful about our value. We got to stop, listen to this, fooling ourselves into thinking they already know how great we are and how great the adjustment it is. How are they going to know if we don't tell them? So will you indulge me for a few minutes in doing a little bit of quick teaching on some procedures? Let's look at the platform that Integrity gives you to tell your patients that you're a wellness doctor, that you're a movement doctor, that you're a mobility doctor from the very beginning. Now, staff, just in case you are about to check out thinking, all right, he's going to go talk to the doctors for the rest of the class. No, actually, I'm going to start with you because it starts with you. Minutes after they've completed their paperwork and you're walking them back to wherever your doctor does a consultation in the office, you need to stop them by the wellness wall, the wall of champions. Right now, hands up, I want to see how many of you have a wall of champions in your office. Let me see. The rest of you look around. Keep your hands way up, way up. The rest of you look around. If you don't have your hand up, have it up by the end of next week. Because here's the deal. The disposition of human beings is to want to belong. They want to be part of a group. They don't know what this is yet. But they see it on the wall, and immediately the human brain says, I want to be part of that. I want to know what that is. I want to be part of the group. And by the way, will you guys look at what we actually put right there on the sign? There's that word wellness. We've got wellness up there, and they don't even know what it is yet, but we're already starting the conversation. And then as we keep on moving, CAs, we move right on into the consultation area, and we do a right place promise. Again, I need participation. CAs only. Put your hands up if you do a right place promise. Let me see it. Way up, CAs. Come on, way up. Let me see it. Keep your hands up if it's on script. Okay, all right. I hope the rest of you guys looked around and saw those hands up. I know. I get it. You don't like scripts. I get it. But when you take these things and make them your words and your flow, and you rearrange it to fit for you, what you do is you leave out vital Easter eggs, if you will, that we've written into the scripts to help begin leading your patients to understand who you are and what you do. Will it hurt once? Probably not. But if you're doing it all the way along the way, leaving them out all the way along the way, you are not telling your patients who you are and what you do. CAs, I got a piece of the script up here. I just want to make sure we got it. I don't just work here. I'm also a patient. So is my entire family. We've all gotten amazing results. And I can't imagine doing life without regular chiropractic care. Boom, starting to drop those little Easter eggs that this isn't just a pain practice. We're going to talk about long-term care. CA's not done with you yet. Then you start a welcome video, right? Right? Ooh, that was weak. We start a welcome video, right? Yeah. You know I'm coming after you, right? And in that welcome video, we start establishing the end from the very beginning. We start establishing right away who you are and what you do. You're going to see this word over and over again, mobility and wellness and movement. And by the way, we even go through there and say, we're going to make a plan for you that doesn't just get you back to health, but keeps you there. You all have a part. And if you leave these little parts out, we're leaving out important dots that your patient can connect. Now, doctors, I got to come to you next. Report of findings. Anybody noticed what's on the front of your report of findings booklet? Have you noticed that it matches your wellness wall? Yeah. Bet we're going to see this again. What do you think? Yeah, you got it. Not only that, but in print inside of the booklet, we've got the word mobility happening again and again and again. And doctors, report of findings script. I know. I get it. Learn it anyway. Because if you do it your way, you leave out the important dots that your patient is connecting. I'd love to see right now some bold doctors. Doctor, if you're on script in your report of findings, put your hand up. Let me see you. Doctors, get your hands up where we can see it. Staff, look at your doctors who don't have their hands up and get them. Get them on it. Keith wants to know why we got this. Yeah, and I saw this one over here too. Yeah, I'm not sure what that is. Broken arm or something, I think. Doctors, scattered throughout your script is the word mobility, is the word wellness, is the connection for what we do long term. I don't need to read you the whole script. You know it's there. But just in case you're not sure, we actually finish the report of findings script by saying, our goal here is wellness, not just what? Right, because we're not. Right, what are we? We're movement doctors. Yes. Natural wellness is what you need, and we can provide that. We're establishing that as the close of our report of findings, everybody. Is there any guess at all about what it is we're here to do? Oh, no, doctors, look where I'm going next. All right, I got to come off the stage for this one. Doctors, 6-point office visit. What you see up here is point number 3 of the 6-point office visit. The reason I put this point up here is because it is the one that when I surprise role play you in coaching, you can't do. Except that this is your message. This is who you are. You're telling your patient what you do and what their long-term vision is. Do point number 3 of the 6-point office visit. Every single time, coach? Yes, every single time. We were talking at dinner last night, and we were talking about messaging, and we were looking at when you watch a football game, 3.5-hour football game, Audi will show you the same commercial 28 times. How do I know? I counted them. 28 times, they'll say the same thing. Same people, same car, same situation, same setting, same. What are they doing? They're implanting this message over and over and over again because they know sometimes you'll hear it, but sometimes you're in the bathroom and sometimes you're getting chips and sometimes you're sitting on the couch but not paying attention and sometimes you are. You ever had your patients there sitting in front of you but you know they're out to lunch, right? You know they're not really listening to you this time. And then sometimes they're raptly listening to what you have to say. You guys, you never know when you're totally making the connection. Don't take a guess. Do it every single time. CA's back to you. About a week or so into the care, we got the Living Well for Life. Do I need to say anything more about this? Have I proven to you that this Living Well for Life video or class, Jason, we talked about that this morning, or class, is important? We've got to show this. I think we get a little caught up sometimes in the dual purpose of the Living Well for Life, and we always focus on it from a referral standpoint, and we forget that it's also one of the things that anchors your patients to what it is we do and why we do it. And it is done in the perfect timing. I'll leave out all the science behind the timing on it for today and just say, trust me, it's done at the perfect time to keep your patients on that mindset of what are we doing and why are we doing it. And just in case you're not sure, let me just take some snippets out of there and show you. Do you see something that's repeating over and over again? Yeah, this is still the first week in care, but we're talking about long-term mobility already. I watched the video just to remind myself what it looks like and what it says, and the young lady talking about this chart here that I'm pretty sure Dr. Attia stole from us, she mentions mobility 7 times in 2 minutes. Do you see the importance here? See what we're doing? And it continues. It keeps going. We talk more about mobility. We talk more about mobility. We talk about wellness. And then we get to the wellness report number 1. Wellness report number 1 happens a couple weeks into care when the patient's starting to feel better and they're asking that question, well, I don't have that pain anymore. Do I need that pill? Yeah, and you come running in right about there, CAs, and you show them a video. And in that video, it talks to them about, hey, don't let this fool you. Don't let your pain starting to feel better fool you. And then, oh yeah, by the way, remember what we're here to do in the long run. Can I just detour on something real quick? I was talking to somebody earlier this week who was talking about, yeah, we do the whole system, And they talked about doing the doctor does the wellness report number 1, and then we show them the video right before they walk out the door. Have you watched this video? Did you know that about halfway through the video, she says, in a few moments, your doctor will come in and give you your report of your progress. Now, how weird do you look if you're doing stuff like that? And how undermining is that to a patient's confidence in you when you're not even following your own bloody system? Don't be weird. Do it right. Do it right. Okay, so we do the video first, and then doctors, you come in with your matching wellness report number 1. And by the way, again, inside the script, we're saying words like, wellness. And in our printed materials are words like mobility. You guys see what we're doing here, right? Okay, I can keep going. Wellness report number 2 happens a few weeks later, another pinch point we've determined, where patients begin to think about dropping out. Yes, you show the video. Yes, it's similar to the one before. Yes, it's okay. It needs to be done again so we can continue to establish where we're going. Doctors, you too, same thing. Do it again. Is the script about the same as the first one? Yeah, almost identical. Do it again. Do it again because you're sitting at a pinch point where that patient historically drops out if you don't answer why we need to keep doing this. And then we get to wellness report 3. All right, now I'm going to detour again. When you guys were putting together the wellness reports, you didn't invite me. There's one thing I would change. I'd call it wellness report of findings. It's perfect. It's a perfect procedure. But I'm afraid by wellness report 3, you guys have gotten tired of it. And yet, most of you in here would never think about dropping a report of findings, would you? This is a wellness report of findings. You're writing a new treatment plan. You're giving them getting from them a new commitment. Think of it from that perspective. This is the next step for the rest of their life. Do not walk into this with a laissez-faire attitude, or even worse, drop the sucker altogether. It's so important. So there's my feedback. I'm winning. I'm going to stop while I'm ahead. Now, is a lot of the wellness report 3 the same? Yes, it is. For the video, it pretty much looks the same. It's got a message that's a little farther along in care, but we're still establishing where are we going next, right? Doctors, do you use the same handout? You bet. Is your script a little more detailed? Yes, it is. But we still lay out the same destination. We still have the same printed items on the handouts. But now I'm going to stop again, because I'm afraid a lot of you missed this too. Question again, hands high so I can see them. How many of you celebrate with your patient when they finish their care and go to wellness? Yes. Yes. Stephen, what do you do? Tambourine and one of the ooga whistles or whatever those are. Sweet. What do you guys do? Maracas and a bell. What about over here? Who celebrates? What do you do? Cowbell? Cowbell. Fantastic. One more. What do you do? Right? We have to celebrate this, you guys. We have to celebrate how awesome it is that they've just made this achievement. This is a huge thing for people. And I want to make sure you know that we've got it in here in the script. We're going to celebrate. We're going to go sign that wall. We're going to go ring that bell. I had a doctor say to me a while back, no way. Totally unprofessional. Would not think about doing that. Medical offices do not do that. Want to bet? They do. Can I tell you guys a story? Some of you may know that my brother was diagnosed in 2020 with a glioblastoma brain tumor. And for those of you that know what a glioblastoma is, you basically know that that is a death sentence diagnosis. There's no cure. That was our 2020. And so when this diagnosis was made, he goes and he gets the emergency surgery, and then he sits down with the oncologist and the neurosurgeon, and they start laying out a plan for him. And along the way, of course, they always do the prognosis thing, right? And basically at that point, he learned that he had between 6 weeks and 6 months to live. They don't know my brother. He said, no. Nope. Not going to happen. I'm going to fight it. I'm going to fight it. I'm going to fight it till the end. And that was him saying, I seek more. Just like your patients say to you, I seek more. And what that did for us and our family, which was really cool, is because he's such a fighter and willing to try and do anything, right? 50% will try a treatment they haven't tried before. He went all around the country seeking treatments for this thing to extend his life. He knew he probably wasn't going to win, but he wasn't going to go out without a fight. And what that did for him is it allowed him to climb 14,000-foot mountains and go surfing in Hawaii and water skiing and all the things that he hadn't done before, although he could even hardly stand up. But that's not the point of the story. One of the really neat things that happened to our family was the hospital in the little town that we live in Wisconsin is a huge experimental hospital as far as trying new things. And he found out they've got this new radiation therapy that they wanted to try with him. So he packed up in Montana, came and lived with us for 8 weeks. 6 days a week, every week, 6 weeks. Got him up at 8 o'clock in the morning, took him over to the hospital for radiation therapy. Sick as a dog. Sick as a dog. I think the therapy just about killed him. By the last day, when we got him out of bed, he could hardly get his head up off the pillow. Comes down through the kitchen, walks past a coffee pot like this, and when my brother says no to coffee, we're in trouble. You know, he looks like death warmed over. Take him to the hospital. Take him into his treatment. We got the treatment timed. We know exactly how long the treatment takes. So we're sitting out in the waiting room waiting for him. We plan sort of either a high-key or low-key celebration, whatever he wants to do. We're going to do that as a family. But about 2 minutes before the radiation therapy is done, the oncologist comes out the door and says, come on. And we go back through the doorway into the back side of the clinic. And lined up down the hallway are all the oncologists with the patients they were consulting with, the nurses, the techs, and even the patients who were doing, IV infusion therapies. So when he comes out the door into the hallway, big cheer comes up. And they usher him down the hall, up to the wall to ring the bell and sign the wall. Sat in the car with him on the way home. And he said, when I got up this morning, I just didn't really think about it. It was just another day and all this junk that I'm dealing with and all the stuff and all the pressure. He said, but doing that and seeing all those people cheer for me and ringing that bell and signing that wall, he said, made me realize what I accomplished. He said, made me realize how important that was. We got 21 months with him. Make it important. Make it important. Wellness care will only be as important to your patients or mundane to your patients as you make it. Don't rain on their parade. Tell them how exciting it is. Celebrate with them, even if it's the 20th one today. Celebrate and ring that bell. Unprofessional, my foot. You guys see what's going on here? See what we're doing? We're giving you a foundation on which to begin building this discussion of long-term wellness. Doctors, it starts with your 6-point office visit, and then we just start layering stuff on over and over and over and over again. You might remember that about a year ago, I taught this to you in the live stream conference last summer. We called it the secret sauce of the integrity system. It's the principle of being consistent about your words and saying them over and over and over again. Keeps it top of mind. It also elicits significant emotional and psychological responses. It develops familiarity with your message. It increases their trust in you. It creates loyalty to your office. And it gives them a high perceived value of who you are and what you do. It establishes you as the gateway to longevity. Because remember, most Americans want to live longer, but few know how. You got to tell them. It's a core value. We got to tell them. Because without us doing adjustments first, these guys are dead in the water. We lead the way. The chiropractic adjustment maintains mobility. I give you this formula to take home. The adjustment increases the body's mobility, and that leads to wellness. And whatever else they want to stack on top of it after that is great. But the adjustment is first. Now let me ask you and let me hear it loud. Do you believe it? Yes. Let me hear it again. Do you believe it? Yes. Now let me leave you with this. I was listening to a podcast a few weeks ago by a guy named Brian Cain. Brian Cain's a mental performance coach for sports athletes, NFL, NBA, UFC. He's talking about the difference between obedience and ownership of an idea or of a mindset. And when you have obedience to an idea or obedience to a mindset, you do what you're told. I mean, if you're working in a clinic and you got obedience to the mindset, you do it because that's the process. You answer as you think you should, kind of like you guys did to me earlier. Yeah, I kind of trapped you into that. You oftentimes really don't care about the why behind it. But ownership of an idea is understanding why. Why do we do it? Because most people don't know, so we do every piece to tell them. Ownership is accepting it at your core, believing it at your core, and working the process to the best of your ability, giving it your heart, giving it your soul. So you guys, I put it in front of you one last time. The adjustment first, to increase the mobility of the human being in front of you so that they can live a long and a well life. So now I ask you as we go home today, which is it? Obedience to the idea or ownership? You guys have been great. This has been a great day. Thank you so much, everybody. We have had a great time having you and can't wait to see you next time.